All right, everyone, good day. This is from me, lead consultant, MAXIM-CONCEPTS consulting practice. And so I continue my short talk on governance issue across board. And so today the topic will be dealing with to do with directors understanding the organization where they preside in and having a tailor-made training for directors as far as their responsibility is concerned. And this is something that came out of the fact that somebody asked a question during the last time out that can we have a topic that relates to, directors who does not understand the organization where they preside over, that is the organization where they're leading. And he says the person went further to say that is it possible to have a tailor-made training for them, and that it should be done in such a way that it does not show that we're actually saying that they are not capable of leading the organization. Okay, so I start from the fact that corporate governance training for directors, for board member is something that cannot be overemphasized. Training has to be ongoing. It has to be done from time to time, as far as looking at the board structure, looking at the members of the considering the members of the board, considering their responsibility, considering the fact that they need to be up to date as far as emerging risk, emerging things that are going on in the society is concerned. So there is a need for ongoing training from time to time for directors and board member. And these trainings are necessary so that it will equip them, to have an understanding of aspect that relates to legal aspect. If there is any changes, they have an understanding of that. Ethical related issue. Are there changes? Are there things that are going on? Are there emerging things that are coming up? They need to have an understanding of that. And also, are there compliance related issue that has to do with regulatory and things like that, trainings and strategic related ones. And the reason why this is important is just for them to have, to be able to give them an updated knowledge, to give them that necessary oversight that they needed to have from time to time as far as the organization they're leading is concerned. And so today I'll be talking about, I will just make mention of those areas. Then in subsequent videos we'll now look at each one, each aspect that will be that will be that will be specified in this video. Okay, so number one is the risk management aspect. The risk management aspect. So they need to have an understanding of the risk that is embedded in the organization where they are presiding over. Someone cannot be a director, you cannot be a board member who does not have an understanding of the risk that is attached to that organization. The ones, the internal, the external, the fact that the fact that okay, this is the way that we have decided to treat it. This is the way we have decided to. These are the ones that we know that okay, we should be able to accommodate. We should be able to mitigate. We should be able, knowing fully well that okay, we can be eradicated completely, and risk is always embedded in every operation or whatever an organization does. There are some risks that, by the virtue of the fact that okay, the organization finds himself or herself in this sector, that risk will always crop up. So a director, a board member should have an understanding of that as far as presiding over an organization as director or a board member. Another one is financial literacy. Yes, they may not be, except the person is a chartered accountant, except the person is a, a company secretary. Then you have, they have an in-depth knowledge of what a professional ought to have. But as far as being a leader, at least there are preliminary knowledge that a director, a board member should have. I give an example for a chartered accountant. A chartered accountant preparing a financial statement, the person preparing that financial statement will have an understanding of the accounting standard, the auditing standard that were used in preparing that, a sound knowledge of those standards and the auditing standards used in preparing those financial statements. The director may not have that, but at least he should be able to look at that financial statement and should be able to interpret certain things. Not really necessary to the extent to which a person like a chartered accountant may be able to do it, but at least have that understanding. Why? Because he's a leader of an organization, he's a director, he's a board member, and is expected to have that required knowledge as far as financial literacy is concerned. A basic knowledge that is, who is looking at a financial statement, there are things he should be able to interpret and to understand. And other area has to do with the emerging trend that are going on in the organization, the transformation, digital things that are going on. Leader, a director, a board member should have an understanding of that, because there will always be a need for changes and changes and changes to occur in the organization. So there's a need for director, a board member to have an understanding of that. Also, area that's that relates to leadership style and emotional intelligence, understanding their emotions and the emotion of the people they are leading, and also board dynamics, understanding board dynamics in that organization to be able to lead effectively. And so these are the trainings, the various areas, various area where it is necessary for directors to have an understanding as corporate governance director, corporate governance board members. These are trainings that from time to time they should have an understanding of. They should do it from time to time, so that they are familiar with the current things that are happening in the society, the current things that are happening as far as the organization is concerned. I take it again, it relates to financial literacy, it relates to risk management, it relates to leadership and emotional intelligence, risk management, legal and their fiduciary responsibility. Fiduciary responsibility in the sense that they are acting in the best interest of the organization, and so whatever they do should be in line with the constitution of that organization, not just thinking that this is what I would love to do. What is the constitution of that organization saying? They should have an understanding as a director, as a board member, understanding of the constitution of the organization, and to work in line with that constitution, ensuring that okay, they're doing that in the best interest of the organization. And the last one is understanding the emerging trend that is happening in an organization. So in the coming video, we'll now be looking at it one after the other. Look at the financial literacy aspect of training that is required for them, risk management aspect that is required for them, the legal and fiduciary duty that is required of them, the one that relates to emerging risk, and the one that relates to board dynamics, emotional intelligence, and leadership style. Thank you, everyone.